There's a huge difference between a quick glance and the kind of eye contact that feels like it has its own gravity. When a girl likes you, her eyes will hold yours just a little longer than necessary. It's not a stare that makes you uncomfortable, but rather one that draws you in, almost like a magnetic pull. Scientists call this mutual gaze, and it's been proven to trigger the release of dopamine in the brain, creating a feeling of pleasure and connection. You've probably seen it in movies. Think of that slow, electric look between Jim and Pam in the office before they ever got together. In real life, this sign is often subtle. She might look at you during a conversation and keep her gaze for an extra second before glancing away with a small smile. Or if she's across the room, she may catch your eye, hold it, and then look down shyly. This isn't random. Our brains are wired to focus on people we're drawn to, and lingering eye contact is one of the oldest, most instinctive ways of showing interest. The key is in the timing. If her gaze lasts longer than with other people, you might be seeing a clear, unspoken signal that she wants you to notice her. One of the most fascinating psychological cues of attraction is mirroring, when someone subconsciously copies your movements, gestures, or posture. If you take a sip of your drink and she does the same a few seconds later, or you lean back in your chair and she subtly follows, it's not just coincidence. Our brains naturally mirror the actions of people we feel connected to, thanks to something called mirror neurons. These tiny cells are behind empathy and social bonding. It's the same reason you might find yourself crossing your arms when a friend does, without noticing. When a girl likes you, her body language will often sync with yours. You scratch your neck, she adjusts her hair. You lean forward, she leans in too. This isn't about copying in an obvious way. It's usually so natural that neither of you realize it in the moment. If you start spotting this pattern consistently, especially in relaxed or social situations, it's a strong sign she's tuned into you on a deeper level than just casual conversation. Feet don't lie. While smiles and gestures can be controlled, the direction of someone's feet often reveals their true focus. If you're standing in a group and her feet are pointed directly toward you, it's a subtle but telling sign she's interested. Body orientation is an instinctive behavior we naturally face what we want to engage with. This is why even when talking to others, someone attracted to you may keep their feet aimed your way. Watch for moments when she shifts her stance. If you walk into the room and her toes angle toward you, that's no accident. Conversely, if her feet consistently point away, it may signal she's distracted or disengaged. Psychologists call this open body alignment, and it's a reliable, low-effort way to read attraction without relying on words. So next time you're at a party or chatting in a cafe, pay less attention to her hands and more to what's happening below the table. The truth might literally be at your feet. Hairplay is one of the most famous signals of attraction, and for good reason. When a girl is interested, she might twirl a strand around her finger, tuck her hair behind her ear, or run her fingers through it more often when you're near. While it can sometimes be a nervous habit, context matters. If she's relaxed, smiling, and making eye contact while doing it, it's likely a subconscious way of drawing attention to her face and neck, areas we tend to highlight when flirting. This behavior is deeply rooted in human interaction. It can be traced back to grooming gestures seen in primates as a bonding signal. In modern settings, it's a blend of self-soothing and subtle seduction. Think of classic rom-com moments where the female lead casually flips her hair during a conversation. It's rarely planned. Our brains simply associate certain gestures with attraction. So if her hair suddenly becomes the star of the moment when you're talking, you might be the reason she's giving it extra attention. Touch is one of the most ancient, instinctive ways we connect. And when attraction is involved, it often shows up in small but repeated gestures. If a girl likes you, she might create tiny excuses to bridge that physical gap. Maybe she taps your arm when she laughs, brushes imaginary lint off your shirt, or lets her fingers linger a second too long when handing you something. Sometimes she squeezes past you in a crowded place and lets her hand rest lightly on your back, or her knee stays against yours when you sit side by side. These moments might feel casual, but they're far from random. Light, friendly contact triggers oxytocin, the bonding chemical in our brains store the positive emotions that follow. The interesting part? She might make it seem accidental, yet it keeps happening. While some people are naturally more touch-oriented, attraction touches tend to pair with other cues, smiling more at you, leaning closer during conversation, and holding eye contact longer. If you notice this combination, it's likely her way of testing comfort and sparking chemistry without saying anything outright. Laughter is a shortcut to connection, and when attraction is in play, it often becomes more frequent. If you notice that a girl laughs more around you than with others, even at your smaller or sillier jokes, it's rarely just politeness. Research shows that people are up to 30% more likely to laugh when in the company of someone they are attracted to. Her laughter might be a little louder, last a little longer, or come with an extra sparkle in her eyes. In group conversations, you may notice she reacts to your jokes more quickly than to anyone else's. Sometimes she'll even laugh in moments that aren't particularly funny, simply because she enjoys your presence and the energy you bring. Laughter also lowers stress and releases endorphins, which make her associate those good feelings with you. That's why so many movie love stories, from Friends to Notting Hill, use humor as the spark that pulls two people closer. When she's laughing more, she's not just enjoying the joke, she's enjoying you. Some signs of attraction are so subtle that we overlook them, yet they reveal everything. One of the clearest is pupil dilation. When we're looking at something or someone that excites us, our brain releases norepinephrine, which causes our pupils to expand, letting in more light and sharpening our visual focus. This reaction is completely involuntary. She can't control it. If her eyes seem wider and darker when she's with you, especially in consistent lighting, it's a strong sign her interest is genuine. Historically, this was even used as a beauty trick. In Renaissance Italy, women would use belladonna drops to artificially dilate their pupils, creating what was considered an irresistibly alluring look. Of course, other factors like lighting or even caffeine can affect pupil size, so it's not a one-clue diagnosis. But if you're in a steady light room, you crack a smile, and her pupils noticeably expand, her body may be showing her feelings before her words do. It's one of nature's most honest giveaways. Body language speaks volumes, often louder than words, and one of the clearest indicators of attraction is how a girl carries herself when you're around. A confident pose might mean she stands tall, shoulders relaxed, chest slightly forward, and her body turned toward you. Her stance is open, her head is high, and there's an energy in the way she occupies the space, almost like she's making herself more noticeable. This can be a subconscious way of showing interest, similar to how people in nature use posture to signal readiness and confidence. On the flip side, a shy pose can be just as revealing. If she likes you but feels nervous, she may cross her legs, tuck her arms close, tilt her head down, and glance up at you with quick smiles. Her hands might play with an object, her hair, or even the hem of her clothes as a way to manage excitement. The shift between these two postures can happen within the same conversation, a burst of confidence when she feels the connection, followed by moments of retreat when she gets self-conscious. Spotting these changes is like reading an unspoken emotional roller coaster. If you notice her body opening up when you talk or subtly angling toward you despite shyness, there's a good chance she's feeling more than just casual friendliness. When attraction kicks in, people often become more aware of how they present themselves, and it shows in the smallest movements. If a girl likes you, she may subtly adjust her clothes or posture the moment you enter the room. This could be smoothing the front of her shirt, straightening her jacket, tucking in a loose strand of hair, or shifting her stance to stand taller. These little grooming gestures are hardwired behaviors, rooted in the same instincts that make animals preen their fur or feathers when a potential mate is nearby. Psychologists link them to an unconscious desire to appear more attractive and put together in the eyes of someone they're interested in. You might notice she crosses her legs differently, pulls her shoulders back, or repositions her bag to open up her body language toward you. Even sitting posture can change, leaning in slightly, feet flat on the ground, back straight. These movements often happen in quick bursts, as if she's preparing for the possibility of closer interaction. If they're paired with eye contact or a quick smile, it's a strong, unspoken hint that she's aware of you and wants to make the best impression possible without saying a word. One of the strongest signs of genuine interest is when a girl remembers the little things you've said, even details you might have forgotten mentioning yourself. It could be as small as recalling your favorite snack, the name of your childhood pet, or the exact way you take your coffee. This isn't just good memory, it's selective attention. Our brains naturally prioritize and store information about people we care about. You might casually mention that you have an early meeting on Thursday, and a week later she asks how it went. Or you once joked about loving a certain movie, and the next time you talk she brings it up as a shared reference. This behavior shows she's actively listening and mentally filing away things that matter to you. It's the opposite of generic small talk. Her conversations feel tailored because they are. Even in group settings, she might recall your preferences without you having to repeat them. In relationships portrayed in shows like How I Met Your Mother, these small callbacks often become inside jokes or special connections. When she remembers the finer details of your life, it's because to her, they're not small at all. They're clues to who you are, and she wants to know more. Personal space is something we guard instinctively, and when someone steps into it, it usually means they feel a level of trust or connection. If a girl likes you, she may lean in when you talk, shortening the physical gap between you. This doesn't have to mean an obvious move. It could be a slight forward tilt when you're sitting at a table, or her upper body angling closer during a conversation in a noisy place. The act of leaning in signals attentiveness and interest, showing that she's fully engaged with you. Social scientists call this proxemics, the study of how we use space in communication, and it's been shown that people reduce distance when they feel comfortable or attracted. You might notice this most in moments of shared laughter, or when she's telling you something personal. Even in group settings, her body may orient toward you while subtly closing the gap. It's a non-verbal way of saying, "You have my attention, and I want to hear more." When combined with other signals like smiling, open posture, or light touches, leaning in becomes one of the clearest silent indicators that she's not just casually chatting, she's drawn to you. The way someone speaks can shift dramatically depending on who they're talking to, and attraction often brings out subtle but noticeable changes in tone. If a girl likes you, her voice may become slightly softer, warmer, or more playful when you're around. This isn't usually a conscious decision. Studies show our vocal cords naturally adjust to create a more appealing sound when speaking to someone we find attractive. Sometimes it's a lowered, gentler tone that makes the conversation feel more intimate, almost like you're sharing a secret. Other times it's a lively, upbeat pitch with more variation, adding energy to the interaction. You might also catch her drawing out certain words, laughing lightly while speaking, or using teasing inflections that make the exchange feel more personal. In pop culture, think of how certain characters in romantic films instantly light up in their speech when their love interest walks in. It's the same psychological effect in real life. If you compare how she talks to you versus how she talks to others, the difference can be surprisingly clear. When her voice changes in your presence, it's her body and brain working together to signal connection without her having to say it outright. In our always connected world, one of the newer and more playful signs of attraction is the so-called accidental message. It might be a text that seems meant for someone else, like a random photo of her latte art, a quick snapshot of her pet doing something silly, or even a short "oops, wrong person" message. On the surface, it looks harmless, but often, it's actually a calculated move. These messages work as an easy, low-pressure way to open a conversation without directly saying, "I wanted to talk to you." Relationship experts refer to this as a soft entry, an indirect way to initiate contact, while still giving themselves the option to play it off casually if needed. You might notice these accidents tend to happen when she probably knows you're free, like late evenings or quiet weekend mornings. The content is often casual enough to pass as a mistake, but interesting enough to invite a reply. On social media, this can also take the form of accidental story replies, or sending you a reel, meme, or song she thought you'd like. And the real giveaway? If you respond and she quickly shifts into a longer, more engaged chat. That tiny oops wasn't really a mistake, it was her way of knocking on the door, hoping you'd open it. Gentle teasing is one of the most classic and effective ways someone can signal attraction without coming right out and saying it. If a girl likes you, she might find little opportunities to playfully poke fun at you, exaggerating a funny habit you have, making a light joke about something you said, or giving you a nickname that only she uses. The important detail is the delivery. It's never sharp or designed to embarrass you. Instead, it's paired with warmth, a smile, a laugh, or a glimmer in her eyes. This keeps the teasing from feeling like criticism and turns it into something intimate and personal. Psychologists call this affiliative humor, the type that builds bonds rather than breaks them. You've seen it in countless movies and TV shows, from the flirtatious banter in The Proposal to the back and forth in Friends between Chandler and Monica. It's a playful push and pull that creates energy between two people. In real life, it might sound like her joking about your terrible music taste, pretending to be impressed by your questionable dance moves, or making a mock challenge for you to prove yourself. The teasing often becomes an inside joke over time, something only the two of you share. This works because it creates a mix of comfort and excitement. She's comfortable enough to joke with you, but invested enough to want a reaction. And here's the real tell after the teasing. She might soften it with a compliment, a quick touch on your arm, or a look that says she's just playing. That balance between playfulness and warmth is what turns a simple joke into a clear sign she enjoys you more than she's letting on. Sometimes the clearest signs of attraction don't come from her directly, but from the people around her. If a girl likes you, her friends often become part of the signal, whether they mean to or not. You might notice her friends exchanging quick glances or little smirks when you walk up, suddenly getting quieter so she can talk to you, or even nudging her toward you in a not-so-subtle way. They might tease her more when you're around, or mysteriously disappear for a few minutes, leaving the two of you alone. Friends often know about a crush long before the person makes it obvious, and their behavior can shift to support it. Sometimes they'll try to start conversations with you just to learn more, or they might bring her up in casual topics when she's not in the room. You could also catch them watching her reactions when you say something, as if they're studying the story they already know. This kind of group dynamic is common because attraction is rarely a solo feeling. It spills over into how people in her circle act. It's like in high school rom-coms where the friends are the secret matchmakers, gently steering the two leads together. If you notice her friends giving her knowing smiles, hyping her up when you arrive, or disappearing just when you and she start talking, chances are they've been let in on a secret she's got a soft spot for you. And they're not above helping things along. Attraction doesn't always announce itself with big gestures. Sometimes it's in the quiet choices, like where she decides to stand or sit. If a girl likes you, she may subtly position herself closer to you, even if there's no immediate reason to interact. In a group, she might drift toward your side of the room, choose a seat near yours at a cafe, or end up browsing the same aisle at a store when you're there. At a party, she could be chatting with someone else, but staying within your line of sight, almost like an invisible string, is keeping her nearby. Psychologists link this to proximity seeking, a natural human behavior where we try to stay close to people we feel drawn to, because being near them increases the chances for interaction. These moments might feel coincidental, but if they happen repeatedly, it's usually intentional on some level. You may notice she joins activities you're part of or lingers in a place you're in, even when the conversation is with someone else. It's similar to how characters in TV dramas conveniently keep bumping into each other, except here the script is being written in real time. She may not speak every time she's near you, but her presence is the point. It's her quiet way of staying connected without risking too much, and it often sets the stage for a deeper interaction later. Sometimes attraction speaks the loudest in silence. If a girl likes you, she may create subtle opportunities to be physically close, even if no words are exchanged. This can look like drifting to your side of the group at a party, choosing the seat next to you during a meeting or class, or casually appearing in the same spot you happen to be, whether that's the kitchen at a get-together or the same section of a store. She might not always start a conversation right away, but her decision to be nearby is rarely random. Psychologists refer to this as proximity seeking, a natural human behavior that increases the chances of interaction. Being close makes eye contact, shared jokes, or quick comments far more likely, even if the moment starts in silence. You might also notice she gravitates toward activities you're part of, like joining a group walk you're in or suddenly showing up at the same event. In social spaces, she may linger longer than necessary, pretending to browse her phone or talk to someone else while staying within your reach. This is the kind of subtle positioning you often see in romance films, where two characters keep accidentally ending up next to each other until something sparks. In reality, it's rarely pure coincidence. She's putting herself in your orbit, giving both of you the chance for natural, low-pressure moments to happen, the kind of moments that can turn into something more. One of the clearest signs of hidden interest is how her energy changes the moment you bring up another girl. If she likes you, even a casual mention, a coworker, a classmate, or a friend, can cause a subtle but noticeable shift in her tone, body language, or expression. She might pause for just a second before responding, give a shorter reply than usual, or try to steer the conversation in a different direction. Sometimes she'll play it off with a joke or a sarcastic comment, masking her curiosity with humor. Other times, she might ask questions about the girl you mentioned, but her focus isn't on the details of your story. It's on figuring out who this person is to you. Psychologists link this behavior to a natural mix of curiosity and mild jealousy, a quiet way of checking her place in your life without directly asking. You might catch micro-expressions, a brief eyebrow raise, a quick downward glance, or a smile that seems a bit tighter than before. In group settings, her reaction can be even more revealing. She might suddenly shift her body toward you, rejoin the conversation more actively, or start teasing you to bring the attention back to your interaction. It's the same subtle dance you see in countless romantic TV shows and films, where a character's emotions slip through before they can hide them. If this reaction happens more than once, it's likely not just coincidence. It's her way of signaling she wants your attention and she's not thrilled at the thought of sharing it. That's about it. What other signs do you know that a girl likes a guy? Write in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.